In this episode of OG55, the Italiano and I are talking about what is going on with some of these Disneyland resort projects. Okay, we were told at D23 that we're going to get all this stuff in 5 years, but we're not seeing a whole lot of movement on a lot of these projects. We have a lot to discuss, and I might get into a little bit of a rant today. Up next on OG55, let's go. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. I have the lovely and amazing Mr. Disney Italiano with me today. Before I introduce George, I just want to say that we have a friend of the channel, D Magic Girl, and I will be linking her X and her Instagram in the description down below. She's a travel agent. If you're looking to book your Epic Universe trip or whatever trip you need, you can always shoot her a message and ask her, and she can definitely accommodate you. She's a friend of the channel, and I want to put her stuff out there. So, because I do know right now, as theme park fans, we are looking to book. Absolutely. We've promoted our friend Ethan, theme park wizard. I know he's an agent as well, and I wanted to also put out there Danielle. She's a friend of the channel, lovely, lovely woman. So, links in the description below. Make sure you private message her if you want to book a trip or have any questions about booking a trip. So, George, where can everybody find you on social media, my good friend?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Citrico Central, great channel, brand new. They do, well, we do, all of us do, right? In-park vlogging over there, right? So sometimes it'll be Abby and George in-park vlogging, doing like the food and wine festival and kind of taste testing everything. Sometimes it'll be just George and I at some bar at Universal, fucking drinking beers and just talking about the stuff we talk about here. They're nerding out. We call them bar chats. So a lot of people have been liking the bar chats quite a bit, but check that channel out, Citrico Central. You can find the link on the homepage here at Orange Grove 55. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into our topic today. So George, myself, and Mr. Webba, another contributor here and friend of the channel at OG55, had a great three-way conversation yesterday on the phone about what's going on with Disneyland Resort. Here's the thing. The Disneyland Forward initiative, right? Believe it or not, was approved almost a year ago now. It was May of 2024 that this thing got approved. Okay, May of 2024 that this thing got approved. Now, we still haven't seen any movement on the Eastern Gateway project. I was told when that Disneyland Forward thing got approved, oh, don't worry, OG, once D23 comes around, then and all the announcements get made, then they're going to start working on the Gateway. Well, we're in April almost now. April of 2025. Of 2025. The Gateway, as far as we know, hasn't started. Disneyland Forward is a year in already. It's been approved for over almost a year now. We don't know where Pandora is going. We don't know where the boat ride for Coco is going. We keep hearing all this murmurs in our community that even Disney doesn't know where Avatar is going yet. I mean, even from the announcement in August of the expo, it's been September, October, November, December, January, February, March, 7 months. 7 months, Disney. And we can't figure out where it's going to go. DCA is not that big. It's not that big. You only have a couple of options, bro. It's either going to go in that symbol lot or it's going to go in the Hollywoodland back lot. There's only really two really serious options, okay? So I don't understand what's taking so long to figure out what one they want to do. Obviously, if they had a spot George, right? I mean, we would know about it, I think. I mean, we knew pretty quick, actually. I think like within a day or two that Cars Land was going to replace the Rivers of America. We now know where Monsters Inc. is going to go in Florida. I would think if they knew where Pandora was going, we would have that information yet. The fact that it's not out there yet tells me they still do not know. The rumors and the murmurs we're hearing that they don't know is probably true. They don't know. And I'm just confused. I'm really honestly just confused. I don't know what's so hard about this decision. But George, what's your take on this, brother? Because it's driving me crazy. Like, we've been talking about this a lot on the channel. I don't understand what the holdup is, and I'm getting a little frustrated with Josh D'Amaro, and I'll talk about that in a second. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to go back a little bit further. You had mentioned it's been 7 months since D23, which is absolutely true. Right. But let's even go back further when Iger made the announcement that there was even going to be a Pandora on the West Coast before we even knew it was going to go in DCA, when I believe it was Imagineer Chris Beatty that kind of I think he was the one that made the announcement that it was going to go into DCA. So just the fact that we knew about Pandora since, I don't even know when that quarterly earnings was, 2020.
Yeah, it was. Iger came back November 2022. I think his first quarterly earnings call back, if I'm not mistaken, was like January 2023 or something like that.
Okay, so we're over 2 years of knowing about Pandora and where it's going and everything. And you're right. When you look at all the projects that were announced with D23 that was tied into with Pandora, you have the Monsters Inc. land, which we know it was going, it's going into Muppets. We all kind of had an idea that's where it was going. I feel like they just didn't make that announcement on stage because of the uproar of us losing Muppets over to Monsters Inc. Same thing with the Cars area, replacing Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America. Obviously, we know where Villains is going. That's going to be adjacent to that. Tropical Americas, I mean, we knew where that was going, and they already started construction on that. They got boots on the ground. Dirt's really moving quickly in that area to have Tropical Americas up by 2027. But aside from all those projects, even going back to Monsters Inc., we already know a confirmed date when Mama Melrose is closing, when Muppets is closing, essentially when they're going to start construction on Monsters. We know absolutely. We don't know a construction date on Pandora because we don't even know where the damn thing's going.
We don't know where.
We have a construction date if we don't know where it's going. And that also begs to the same question about Coco. Coco's not even a land. It's an individual attraction. And we still don't know about that. Why? Because I feel like that Coco is somewhat tied to Pandora. Whatever they decide with Coco, that's going to give the answer to Pandora. But why don't we know that? Because they don't know where it's going.
Yeah, but why don't they know where it's going? That's the thing that's frustrating to me. And this is where I kind of like, I want to make it very clear.
Woke up looking for the broccoli.
Yeah, that too. I want to make it very clear. I woke up looking for the broccoli. Hi, Keith. No, sorry. I hit the drop by accident. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. No, but in all seriousness, though, I do want to say I'm not trying to like pile on Josh D'Amaro because, like I said many times, I think he seems like a really nice guy. Everyone I've ever known, including our good friend Alia, a friend of the channel. Everybody I've ever known who's met the guy in person said he's a really cool guy in person. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I do have issues with some of this stuff. You announce these things at D23. Okay. You announce these things at D23 in August. When you make these announcements, you should know where these things are going to be going. Like it shouldn't be, we'll throw it out there and then we'll figure it out later. It should be, okay, we know we're going to put Pandora, we're going to put it in DCA. This is where we're going to put it. We're going to put it in the symbol lot. This is the battle plan. All right. It should basically be shovel ready when they make that announcement at D23. And I feel like a lot of this stuff is not. And the reason why I think with this D23 is because Josh is in the running to be the next CEO. We've talked about this a lot. He needed a massive win at that expo, and he got it. He got that win. We were very, very, we were praising Josh after that expo. He did everything and more that he had to do at that expo. But the issue, though, is I feel like there was a lot of things that they rolled out at that expo to sort of bolster it up, to get all the applause and the fans excited and all the big headlines to make, to generate hype, and also, to be fair, to make tomorrow look good. He needs it right now. He's running to be the next CEO. But there wasn't a whole lot of thought behind like the planning, like, okay, now after the announcement, though, we actually have to deliver on this thing, you know? And it's like they're still scrambling to figure out where they're putting these things. Honestly, if they knew where Pandora was going, we would know this. I don't know. I honestly have no idea what is the holdup with this. Why can't they say, you know what? Construction begins for Pandora in 8 months or next year, and we're going to be starting the Eastern Gateway project to make way for us to move into that Simba parking lot, or we're gonna be closing down Hollywoodland on this date to make way for Pandora, or to make way for Coco. I mean, supposedly Coco, from what we understand, is going to break ground in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're already 3-4 months into 2025. We still don't know where that's going.
Yeah. And again, they would have to make the announcement before they break ground. I mean, technically they don't have to, but that's usually not Disney's MO with things. They usually make the announcement of like where something's going before they start closing things off and start doing construction.
Well, you would think they would have to, just because logistics, though. So if you're going to shut down part of like Simba lot, or you're going to be reconfiguring anything, like you shut down like half of Hollywoodland or whatever, you would have to make these announcements that these areas will be shutting down, like they did with the Muppets.
Right. And you see, a lot of people get on Chapek. I'm one. I have my thoughts on him. But I have to say, when he was chairman of parks, at least when he made announcements for Ratatouille, we knew where it was going. When he made announcements for Cosmic Rewind, we knew where it was going. When he made announcements for Tron, we knew where it was going. And they even showed concept art of the placement of where it was going to go. Just by one piece of concept art, we knew Cosmic Rewind was going to replace Universe of Energy. They showed the piece of concept art that Tron was going right next door to Space Mountain, which we knew, okay, Tomorrowland and Magic Kingdom.
Right.
So I don't understand.
Like even Avengers Campus, like we knew very early on it was replacing Bugs Land.
Exactly.
Like there wasn't this big guessing game for months and months and months and months and months and months about where things are going. And like, this is ridiculous.
Because even with just Coco, we only got one piece of concept art, and it was just the look of the boat ride going into the one scene where it's showing, I'm assuming we're like the audio animatronics. That's it. That's not telling us nothing. It's just like, that was probably an early piece of concept art that they just threw up there for D23. And it's like, okay, well, now we've got to figure out where it's going. Is it going behind Incredicoaster on the pier? Is it going to be part of Simba lot? Is it going to replace Paradise Gardens? That's where I feel like Coco and Pandora are on the same wavelength, because out of everything that was discussed and announced at D23, those were the two projects we still know really nothing about.
And this is the issue that I have. Okay, the D'Amaro management style reminds me a lot of the Kathleen Kennedy management style in a lot of ways, where you announce for the hype and the buzz, and then you figure it out later, So, and it's like this whole thing where it's like Star Wars does this all the fucking time, dude. They'll announce a movie, and then we wait and wait and wait. Is there a script? Is there a script? Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. It's a whole big BS guessing game for months and months and months and months, and that's what we're seeing in the park division now.
Yeah,
we never had this issue before. We knew where stuff was going when they announced it. We had more clear-cut plans. And it's frustrating because it's like, I want to like Josh. I want him to dude, these are cool plans. Pandora's awesome. The Coco Bull Ride. These are things that we want here. But like, let's have a little bit of transparency here with the fans. Let's just like figure this out, And like I said, DCA is not a big park. You don't have that many options, Disney. I mean, there's only like 1 or 2 spots you can realistically put this thing. Like, really, how much talking over are we going to do? Another year to talk it over? And like, I mean, at what point do we like act on it. You know, I mean, even I don't know, bro. Like, it's just frustrating to me. It really is, and it's hard because, like you were saying, the longer you wait, the riskier it gets. You want to elaborate on that because you mentioned that on the phone yesterday.
Absolutely. And you actually even sort of kind of touched upon it when you mentioned about Star Wars and Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy. What do all those Star Wars projects have in common? They get canceled. Why? Because it gets shot down the gutter how many times, waiting on a script, waiting on a director, waiting on this, waiting on that, whatever the issue is, to eventually no one's interested anymore. We can't get it up off the ground, so let's axe it. That's my worry with these park projects is the longer they get held up, then they start cost cutting. They say, well, being that we didn't start construction yet, we had this, but let's take that out. We can save money over here. Let's cut this. Let's cut that. And here's the thing. That's smart, but a kind of a sneaky smart on Disney's way, because that's why that they didn't give no in-depth concrete detail, because they can cut things but would never know.
Well, yeah. Now, the only saving grace is Pandora with that, because I think that James Cameron, he's a no-nonsense kind of guy.
Yeah, he wouldn't take that.
Yeah, he's not going to allow Disney to, like, shoestring budget the hell out of that thing. So I think Pandora will, whenever it eventually gets built, when it opens in 2045, probably, right? It'll be amazing, I'm sure. But it's just getting there, you know? Now, the Coco thing and any Disney IP, 100%, George, 100%. That thing, oh, well, you know, yeah. Does it really need a little Mexican courtyard outside of that? Nah. You know, we'll just put it in the pier. We'll shove it over there in Pixar Pier, you know? No. Let's give this boat ride its proper love. Coco is a beautiful franchise. It's a beautiful culture. That culture and the Mexican people carry so much impact for this state. And you have an entire park based on California. You do that franchise right. You don't half-ass it. Do not shove that thing into the pier. It's a beautiful boat ride that deserves a better build-up than that.
Now, with the announcement more recently that there's going to be a sequel to Coco, initially they said it was going to be a 2029 release time.
Yeah, then they pulled it. So it probably is 2029, and they didn't want that information out yet.
Right. Or could that possibly also mean too that's basically the time frame for the attraction? Because I wonder if Disney's going to go that route where they kind of did with like the Mandalorian and Grogu. So they're opening the movie up the same weekend as Smuggler's Run's new mission.
Yeah. So
I wonder if the attraction is going to be tied to the marketing and promoting of the sequel and vice versa.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. I think we talked to Theme Park Wizard about that privately recently. Not mistaken. I thought we did in the DMs or whatever. But like, yeah, I think it is. I think it's 100%. Like, we were speculating why, because they said they're going to start construction on Coco in 2026. And we were speculating why 2026? Are they going to do the Eastern Gateway? Is that why they're waiting? No, it's probably because the movie comes out in 2029. We didn't know there was a sequel. Exactly. So it's going to coincide with the sequel. Now that gives them kind of like 2.5, maybe 3 years, depending on when they start it. And depending on when this thing opens in 2029, but let's just say we'll give them a full 3 years. Now, if they have 3 years, could you do a little Mexican courtyard and an attraction, or does the 3 years indicate you're just getting a boat ride?
I think honestly they could still fit if they really wanted to. They think they could do a little Mexican village, because you're not doing anything over the top, so to speak.
Right. They're not doing a Pandora or something crazy.
Yeah, a Mexican village is authentic, but I don't think it would be I don't even think it would even be very costly, to be honest with you. More added on to the price tag than what already the attraction is.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, my preference right now, do not do the pier. Absolutely not. But do that back area with Monsters Inc. and all that. You can bulldoze all that stuff, and you can put the boat ride into the bus load unload area. There's plenty of room there, plenty of acreage there. And that whole little area where Hollywood and Dine and Monsters Inc. is, and that ugly little stage can be this beautiful Latin Mexican courtyard. You can have, like I said so many times, but not everyone watches every video, but you have that little Mexican courtyard right there. You can have like outdoor vendors cooking like Mexican food. You can have the mariachis. Oh my God, it would be beautiful back there. And then where Monsters Inc. is where you would enter maybe the attraction and get into that beautiful boat ride. You can do that. And that actually works really well too with Hollywoodland, because you go down the main Hollywoodland strip, right? And then you can turn a left on like Olvera Street or something, and you get into the Coco area. It can kind of tie into
it's so much better than walking from Buena Vista Street into Pandora and then having Avengers Campus right across the way from it.
Exactly. I mean, that Mexican little street stuff would be perfect. It's very Los Angeles.
Now,
absolutely perfect.
If they do go that route where Pandora does go in Hollywoodland, I will touch upon that because we also talked about it last night as well. But I don't want to give too much of Ebba's idea because it's his. I want him to be able to describe it. But he did mention to us also take into consideration with Encanto, because there are rumors circulating that an Encanto attraction, or maybe a West Coast version of what's going into Tropical Americas may be coming to DCA as well. So that could be also the potential of what's holding Coco off, because they can kind of have Encanto and Coco kind of in that same wheelhouse, wherever they decide to put it. So that could take into a factor. But also going back to where if they were to put Pandora in Hollywoodland off of Avengers Campus, right off of Buena Vista Street, it's all like a hodgepodge of like just IP like everywhere. Does that beg the question that DCA, known as Disney California Adventure, will essentially be getting an identity change, primarily with the name of the park?
Well, I said before, you can turn this park into a cash cow machine if you change just that one word on that sign to cinematic. I mean, if you change it to Disney Cinematic Adventure, you could, in theory, you can add a Villains Land into DCA. Now Halloween is already very popular in DCA, and you have permission, so to speak, to get edgier. A Villains Land in DCA, you can do edgier. Now, I'm not saying you got to get gory, like, not HHN style, but you can go a little scarier at DCA and you would be fine. You can't do that at the Magic Kingdom. So creatively, you would have a little more freedom. So, but you could do a Villains Land over there if it was Cinematic Adventure. You could do Moana, a whole little beautiful Polynesian area, maybe over there in the Simba lot. You can do just about any franchise you want. It would be you would make a mint on that park, and you wouldn't be tied down to the California anymore. But you can still keep your beautiful entry with Buena Vista Street because, well, it's cinema, and Los Angeles does tie into that still. It's like LA is a gateway into all these worlds that we've enjoyed out of Hollywood.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that's where it may make sense that if you turn off of Buena Vista Street, you walk into Pandora, you leave out of Pandora, you go into Avengers Campus, you leave Avengers Campus, then you come up to Pixar, so that would make more sense if they go that route. But then again, also too, we don't know, and you had mentioned this time and time again, but we don't know for as long as we're waiting for this Pandora land to go in is just as long as James Cameron making these sequels. So we don't know what's going to be really involved with these sequels. And does California have a main plot point in them?
That's the thing, and again, I don't think it does. Right. If I were to bet, I would probably say no, but we don't know. That's the thing. And that's what makes the Avatar project at DCA so frustrating. Because it's based on 3 movies that none of us have seen yet. And it's in a park where we don't even know where it's going. And it doesn't match the current theme. So there's like 1,001 questions as to how this thing is going to fit into this park.
And especially since we haven't even received a trailer for Fire and Ash yet. So it was talked about that there are elements of this land that will be showcased from Fire and Ash. So can they really give details of what's going in this land without us even seeing a trailer of Fire and Ash first? Like in Disney's mentality, like
Well, yeah.
what would they be waiting on? Are they waiting for a trailer? Are they waiting for what? Like, obviously, because it seems like there has to be something more than just picking the location of the land.
There has to be. There has to be. I mean, I would hope there has to be, because otherwise it's total malpractice.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the park isn't that big and there's only like a couple of options. And you've had literally like 7 months since the announcement, like, to figure it out. Like, Disney's a smart company, you know what I'm saying? They could figure this out, come on. So there has to be some other thing here. I don't know what it is, but it could be they're throwing around the idea of retheming the entire park, and that could change where this whole thing, I don't know. It could be something with the movie and James Cameron. It could be, but I mean, even just to announce, though, to park fans, you don't even have to give us details on the land. You've already given us concept art. Just say, hey, you know what? We're going to start construction on this thing in a year, and it will be replacing Hollywoodland. Or this land will be built on that symbol lot, and just let people know where it's going. Now here's the thing. To be fair to Josh, and it's possible we have coming up the 70th anniversary of Disneyland, kicking off in May.
Mm-hmm.
July 17th, though, is when a lot of the goodies are coming online.
That's when, supposedly, because when the Lincoln Theater reopens on July 17th, Disneyland's actual birthday, we're going to have the Walt show with the Walt Disney audio animatronic, and then we are going to exit off into like the exit lobby, but they're going to design it to where it's going to show the future of the Disneyland Resort. Now, what does that entail? Does that mean more concept art? Does that mean more concept models? But I would think by July 17th, walking into that room, we should know more about Pandora and Coco. And if we don't, we have one other time frame that I could think of, and that would be in late September for Destination D23. If we don't hear anything from the time frame between May and September of anything of Pandora and Coco, I don't know how that 5-year promise would ever come through, because we're going into the end of 2025. Here comes 2026, and they still haven't even broke ground.
Right, exactly. And the thing is like, how long would it take to build a Pandora? How long did it take over in Florida?
So the initial announcement for Avatar going into Animal Kingdom was in 2011. I forget the month that they announced it, but it opened May 27th, 2017.
So 6 years, but Florida does take longer than California with stuff typically.
Right.
And they might have sat on that announcement for a couple years before breaking ground. I don't remember when they broke ground.
Yeah, because that's just from announcement to thing. So yeah, when they actually broke ground, because I remember Joe Rohde was there. Bless his heart, the producer of the Avatar films, John Landau. He was there as well. They had these big blue shovels, and they were doing.
And Tom Staggs was there.
So
it must have been like before 2014, because I think Staggs left in 2014, didn't he? Or around there? 14, maybe 15?
14, 15-ish is when Tom left.
Okay, so let's just guesstimate. Let's just say with Tom there for the groundbreaking.
13. I might be wrong, but I thought they broke ground in 2013.
Okay, so 13. Let's go with that, because we're probably pretty close. So if Pandora broke ground in 2013, it opened in 2017? 2017. Okay, it's 2017. Okay, 4 years. So in order to keep Josh's promise of 20, well, he said 5 years, but he said 5 years in August of 2024. So in order to keep his promise, it would have to be 4 year. Well, 4 years from now would be 2029. If we go 4 years from now, it'd be 2029. So they would have to start Pandora pretty soon because 2030 is the end of the 5 year, right? Or no?
Okay. So, okay, actually, no, I was wrong. It was so January 10th, the week of January 10th, 2014, they broke ground in Animal Kingdom.
So it only took them 3 years to build that thing?
3 years.
Okay. So so 5 years. Let's give Josh the benefit of the doubt, right? We're not going to count 2024 because August was already like you're almost at the end of the year, kind of.
Yeah.
So let's just say the clock started January 2025.
Right.
If it's only going to take 3 years, see, here's the thing, bro. That would be 2030, right?
Right.
By 2030. So technically, they wouldn't have to start Pandora
till 2027.
Yes, but here's the thing, though. They would have to start the infrastructure, though, no matter what they do, because they have to get the Eastern Gateway up. So that has to start soon, though.
Right.
And they haven't even started that.
See, and I think that's just the thing. I think us as fans, if we were to just know where things were going, then it's like, okay, let's sit back, let them cook, let them do, at least we know where it's going and everything. It's the fact of the unknown, of not knowing. But yeah, I mean, technically they could start it at the end of 2026, the very beginning of 2027, if he wants to hit that 2030 deadline.
Yeah. But you'd have to start the gateway though, like this year.
Right. You would have to start the gateway. The gateway would have to be completed in order to do that. So if you're starting the gateway in 2025, I don't even know how long do you think that would take?
I think the Pixar and PALS or whatever that thing is called, parking structure, I think it took about 18 months. So let's just say about a year and a half to 2 years. Let's say 2 years.
2 years. Okay, so yeah. So if they would have to start the Eastern Gateway now for it to be done in 2027, that would be done in 2027.
And then
they
boom.
break ground in 2027 for Pandora. It's done for 2030.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you have to get started on this stuff soon. So we'll see. July 17th might be the day we get more answers.
Yeah. Oh, and also too with Coco, because if they're going to start the construction of Coco in early of 2026, one way or the other, the Eastern Gateway has to be started this year.
Yeah, you have to start it. And why hasn't it? Like I said on the top of the show, the Disneyland Forward has been approved for a year. A year.
And you would think, yeah, you would start to see maybe like walls going up or like construction trailers or, things like getting prepped and prepared. Like, I don't understand it.
Let me see. I'll tell you exactly when. Let me see. I'll give you the exact. I could have sworn. Yeah. May 20th. Oh wait, no, hold on one second. Let me see. Disneyland representatives and city staff say the project will bring in the community. Wait, hold on one sec, guys and gals. Bear with me just for a second. Anaheim approves. Oh God, these freaking ads. Anaheim approved $2 billion Forward expansion. Anaheim officials approved Disneyland Forward. I think it was a 2-vote approval though. So this was in April of 2024, and then May was the final vote, I believe is how it went.
I think so.
Yeah, so it was either way, April, May, whatever. It's a year, and there's been no movement on the Eastern Gateway.
One way or the other, they have to start it now in 2025. They have to. Whether it's for Pandora, for Coco, no matter how much you dice it, just with Coco alone, they have to break ground on the Eastern Gateway in 2025.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And again, we're hard on Josh because we love these parks. We love this company. We want these parks to thrive and this company to thrive. And and again, it's not anything against Josh. I like the guy. I'm just frustrated because I feel like I would say since like him and Chapek kind of had, more control with the parks, I feel we've gotten like less and less like answers. It's gotten wishy-washier. You know what I'm saying? As time progressed. And I feel like 2015 and before that, it was way more not even 2015. I would say even like 20, like really, like honestly, like I don't know. Like I feel like the last like 5 years it's been really steadily like going down in terms of announcements and things really, following through, getting details. We never waited like this for any of these projects. We knew Bugs Land was going away for Avengers. We knew these things. We knew where all these projects were going, and now everything's a big question mark. And again, it reminds me a lot of the Lucasfilm thing.
And honestly, I feel like we're still part of that domino effect with Josh. Again, nothing against him as a person. I got to meet him. Very nice guy, very personable, very likable. But I feel like we're still in the Damaro effect, where he's still trying to recover from the major blunder that he made in D23 of 2022, because he then had to, the mess up that he did with 2022 by making it more like of a seminar, kind of like blue sky, kind of see where our headspace was at. Nothing guaranteed, nothing announced, nothing official. He then had to redeem himself in the last D23 because of 2022. And he did. But the problem with that is, because of the events of 2022, he then had to say, okay, give me all that you got, Imagineers. Give me all your concept arts, whatever you're working on. We got to do like a hell of a show. Okay, made the announcement. Oh, I'm guaranteeing this. I'm proving this. This is all going to happen. But then boom, when the lights go off and the curtain shuts, he turns to the Imagineers and it's like, okay, now we got to figure out where all this shit is going.
Right, exactly. And we want the announcements, but we also want like real plans, though, and that's where I keep saying this. It's Lucasfilm. It's Kennedy, where she's sitting there going, oh, I need to excite the fans. Oh, we'll announce this. And then there's no follow-up, or there's no there's no substance, or like, oh, is there a script? Is there this or is it? No, I don't know. We don't know. I don't know. We know. And then a year from then, the movie's canceled. That's what this feels like to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I hope I'm wrong.
And that's what worries. And that's what worries me. I do see your point, like, especially with the Pandora project, because when something is tied with James Cameron, he's like one of those people that you don't tell no to.
No, I think we're fine with it. I think we're fine with Pandora. It's not going to get canceled. And I honestly don't think even Coco will, just because of the movie's going to be a massive.
It's not even really canceled. Let me rephrase it. And again, not even speaking with Pandora, because again, James Cameron's a stickler for details. My thing is for budget cuts.
Yeah, budget, or even just kicking the can. I think is my biggest concern, just kicking the can, and it's going to be 2035 when we actually get these things or something,
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
But then that's bad showman in a way, because that would then leak into the second half of the 10 years.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, but do they care? I don't know. So it's tough, man. It's really tough.
Don't you have an agreement with Anaheim that all this stuff has to be done within a certain amount of time? Otherwise,
yes, that's true. That's a good point, George. There is an agreement where they have to pay a fine or something if they don't have certain criteria by certain time periods. So yeah, that is true. But the fine, I forgot what the fine was, but I remember like laughing at it. Like, for Disney, it's not a big deal. If they could pay it, it wouldn't even matter to them. But like, we'll see. Like I said, we're fair here. And if July 17th rolls around and Josh rolls out the Pandora model, and it's all connected to DCA, and we find out where it's going, and hey, you know what? All the flowers to Daddy Josh. I honestly, George and I go back to our D23 episodes. We were heaping praise from the hotel room of that expo. We were like, this is crazy. This is amazing. This guy absolutely freaking delivered, So it's not like we're just here to hate on Josh. We're not at all. If he delivers with these announcements, say on July 17th, I'm on board. I will be so happy. And I think he should. Josh, if your team, anybody is watching this, give the fans a little something. We don't even need more detail on the land. It's cool if you're still ironing that stuff out, but just tell us where it's going. Just say, hey, you know what? It's going to replace this, or it's going to go into the symbol lot, or give us some idea. And I think those little updates with the progress goes a long way too in building back that trust with the fandom, because a lot of us do have PTSD with things getting canceled and what have you. And even though you and I don't think these particular projects are going to get canceled, it's still a PTSD thing. Like, well, we haven't heard about it for a while. What's going on? So if you update us, Josh, along the way, like let's say in July, just say, hey, this is where it's going, or give us some sort of update where how it's going to fit into the park, or this, that, and the other. I think it'll go a long way with fans. I really do. Do not let a year go by with no update, and then people kind of get a little bit apathetic. I do feel that the long wait time for this Avengers e-ticket has really killed the hype.
Yeah.
People are just,
it has for sure.
Yeah.
People are like, okay, it is what it is. We get it when we get it. Like, people just stopped caring of like how long it was going to take, because literally it initially got announced back at D23 2019.
Yeah, and I get it. To be fair, it was August of 2019, and then by freaking February of 2020, we had the pandemic. I totally understand that. Like, shit hit the fan just a few months after that, right?
I mean, if you're going by logistics.
Yeah, no, but that was a huge thing there, and I get that. Yeah, but
that was a hindrance on any project that was announced that was supposed to go into production, so to speak, starting from 2019 on. Yeah, that took a major hit, because you have to think the world basically shut down in 2020. But you can't just take 2020 into account. You have to take 2021 and 2022, when businesses were trying to get back up on their feet. And there's still businesses even into 2025 now that are still trying to get up off their feet from the events of 2020.
Yeah, exactly. So it's tough, man. It's tough, but we are absolutely rooting for you, Josh. We want you to thrive, man. Just knock a home run out. Like, knock a home run for this and give the fans some updates on these projects. Do not fall into the Kathleen Kennedy trap. Do not fall into the hype machine headline, generating machine, and then the no follow-up. Let's get the follow-ups. Give fans, even if it's a Disney Park blog post or something, just those little updates go a long, long way for building that trust back with fans. I do agree with you, George. That Blue Sky session thing that they were doing for the past couple expos in 2022, I think it was, or whatever, not good. And it broke a lot of trust. It's going to take time to build that trust back. So we got to get these updates, so we'll see. But interesting conversation, George. Where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also, if you like to see us even like in the parks, talking all this stuff, but actually taking you to the locations of what we're discussing, check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, the sister channel to Orange Grove 55, where we go in depth with all this stuff actually on location at the parks.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody at home, comment down below. I know you guys and gals have thoughts on everything we talked about today. What's your thought on this? Like, are you frustrated too as fans that we haven't heard anything about where these projects are going? Florida seems to know a lot of their stuff. So it's not like Disney doesn't announce these things. They seem to announce them, with Monstropolis. And look, real quick, I want to be very fair too. That Monstropolis thing, I think Disney, I told George this on the phone last night, was a brilliant move. And I know a lot of fans are going to hate me for saying that. They took the Muppet area. They knew fans were going to be upset with the Muppets, so they gave Muppets a presence in Rock and Roller Coaster. So you give the fans what they want, which is Muppets, but you also fix the Rock and Roller Coaster problem. Disney, genius the way that was handled. And I know a lot of fans disagree with me on that, but that was a brilliant chess move. Okay, that's how you do it. As fans, I know a lot of fans don't like the Rivers of America going away, but at least you guys know where this thing is going. At least you have answers, what I'm saying, for better or worse. So things are, answers are being had over there in Florida. Why can't we get answers here in California? That's what scares me a little bit with this stuff, is that Disney has the ability to provide those answers, but for some reason out here, they're just not giving those, which is really, really upsetting, and it's fucking with my OCD. So, but anyway, thank you for watching this episode of OG55, and until the next time.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.